Welcome to YorkZuki.com Insights. I wanted to share something with you. Many years ago, I had hair. When I was 17, I did my private pilot license. And one of the things that they teach you is a checklist that you do regularly while you are flying from A to B. It's called Hustle. And it made me think that there's a lot one can learn from that checklist for entrepreneurs. So here are my hustle checklist for entrepreneurs. The hustle stands for height. The first letter stands for height. And for aviators, it means that while you're flying, should something go wrong, do you still have enough height between where you are and the ground? If you're flying too close to the ground and something goes wrong, you don't have a lot of time to react and fix and look and try to find a solution. The same for entrepreneurs. How much buffer do you have when things go wrong? How much cash flow in the bank? How quickly can you reduce your cost? This is a very useful thing to do as an entrepreneur. Every once in a while to put it in your calendar and say, every 3-4 months with some people in the office, let me do a hustle check. The second one is A, which is the airframe. For the pilots, that means checking, are the doors still intact? Are the wings still on track? Is the frame of the airplane still working well? Are the flaps, is there anything that I see that's a little bit loose? And in entrepreneurship, it really means having a good look at all the parts of your business. Are they still fitted together, the business? Are they still working in tandem as we had planned them? On a practical level, for example, it might be that you are sending a lot of invoices out, but the collection and following up of those invoices is lacking. It may be that the bookkeeping is 3 months behind, which means you will be impacted by VAT payments, for example. So it really is taking, again, you might do it once every 3-4 months or once every half a year. It's just to sit with your various teams and say, okay, guys and girls, are we still all in sync to where we are with the business? And you'll be surprised that sometimes, due to the busy nature of running a business, we often forget to touch base with all the moving parts. Security. Well, when you're flying, security means, okay, is there anything loose? If you suddenly do this with the airplane, you are actually lifting a lot of things that you thought were on the but you didn't even maybe know that were on the floor, like a screwdriver that can come up and hit you on the back of the head, and that can have serious harm implications to you. Security for me in entrepreneurship means thinking a little bit more about your actions. Well, we entrepreneurs are energetic, we're go-getters. We started a company because we were passionate and hungry, we want to achieve things. But sometimes we don't really think about the impact. The impact, for example, of committing to projects, of committing to a client, of saying, yeah, hello, let's do that, sure, I'll come to 7 meetings. Now, those are 7 meetings that distract you, that might pose a risk down the line, that might be the screwdriver that is now lifted when the business suddenly does a turn. So think about that. The next point is the engine. Now, in pilots talk, the engine, you check the various gauges that you have in front of you. For an entrepreneur, it's very simple. How is our cash flow? Do we have enough resources? How is our support systems in place doing? Are we coping with the backlog of products or service or demand, or do we have too much? Are we nicely flowing? Can we climb a little bit, or do we have to drastically reduce our altitude? Do we have 6 months of cash left? That means that, oh my goodness, we actually have to plan ahead. 6 months is short, or do we have 3 weeks? If you have 3 weeks, but at least you know it now, you can actually make a plan. Which brings us to the next point, which is location. In aviation, when you're flying, it's easy to be lost in the cockpit. But once in a while, you actually have to look out and say, hold on a second, am I in the right place? I know the map, I know the instruments are telling me all the right things, but am I with the airplane where I thought I was going to be? How many of us entrepreneurs forget to do that? Forget to lift our head, look around us and say, what are the competitors doing? Where are the clients moving? I'm so busy running my business that I'm maybe not listening to client feedback, but are saying, I like your products, but I actually would like them much more if there were a little bit more there. Which brings us to the next point, when the shit goes wrong. In aviation, when you're flying, you are constantly looking for a landing field. It may be a field, it may be a flat piece of land. You don't want to land on roads, despite the popular misconception that you could use it as a runway. But you are constantly looking. Now, when a small airplane like the ones I used to fly, you can land in quite a lot of places. And you also have a long gliding distance where a jumbo jet goes like that if something goes wrong. With a small airplanes, assuming a single engine, if the engine was suddenly to break, I can still glide and I can do a couple of turns to arrive somewhere. So by constantly scouting where I could land in an emergency, I am preparing myself in that eventuality. And so the question to us, or to you entrepreneurs and myself as well, is often, what does our landing field look like? Have we really thought through where we're going to land should they hit the fan? And by landing field, I mean, maybe you put a checklist. Do every 6 months with your colleagues, your shareholders, your business partners, your investors, with yourself, with your friends even. Worst case scenario, what happens if we run out of cash, if our clients don't pay, if. When you do it in calm times, you will find that when it hits you, you pull out the page and you go, checklist, checklist, clients are not paying, overdue invoices. Here's the 7 steps we can now do. You have no idea the difference that will make when you develop that plan in calm times. The lookout, that's the final one. Check when you're flying around, you often don't check enough because, again, there's a lot of instruments, there's a lot of communication, there's checking the map, you're looking down for the landing field. But sometimes just breathe. Go for a walk as an entrepreneur. Go and look around you to see what is really happening. Hold on a second. I see as a pilot that down there, I was so busy looking at the right place, looking for landing space, checking my instruments, making sure the passenger's okay, but I forgot to look up, and lo and behold, there's a 747 flying in my direction, or there's a big dark cloud on the horizon. Do that sometimes with your business. Look for something without expectations. See if maybe there's a huge threat. Google is now bringing a new product that might interfere with or might compete with yours, or an opportunity that because you were so busy that you're missing because it's right there on the horizon. If only you stopped for the moment, went for a walk, looked up with clean, fresh eyes. I hope that helped. Happy flying.